Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 21st June 2017. The first article, The Art of Positive Messaging. So in this article, we will be talking about the importance of being optimistic and positive and sharing that across the people. So BJP and Prime Minister Modi's victories in elections, they can be stated as the art of positive messaging. So in this context, either Communist Party of India or Congress, they are more critical of the government and they are showing a cynical picture of the government which is not coming in tune with the masses. So Achedin, and then a strong Prime Minister and a strong country, and the sacrifice in the name of nation, nationalism, all these are a kind of tuned in a positive sense of self-worth and projected to the people. So, if you talk about demonetization, it has been packed with sacrifice and given to the people. And if you talk about surgical strikes, a patriotism, strong nation, and strong prime minister with decisive skills, these are being projected for. So here I want to put this debate in a global context. If you take Brexit, the pro-Brexiters tried to give a positive message in the name of freedom, independence, decisions in the country, etc. On people who are against the Brexit, these have tried to instill fear among the people, stating that if they exit from the European Union, that can lead to unemployment, loss in trade, etc. Finally, it has given a positive message towards the positive voting pattern towards the Brexit. Now, if you see the Theresa May, the recent election in Britain, Prime Minister May, she lost the seats and vote percentage significantly. And one of the reasons election watchers say is this: Miss Theresa May has focused on Jeremy Corbyn and Labour rather than on her own positive attributes. She wanted to tell to the people what negative can happen Mr. Corbyn comes to power and how fiscal deficit can worsen, economic crisis can come up. On the other hand, Mr. Corbyn, he focused on how he can improve the welfare of the people. So that's why, to an extent, the positive message has a role in winning the elections. So, make America great again. India shining. But what happened to India shining is the question. So in this case, positive messaging is all alone is not sufficient. The other matters such as unemployment, welfare, growth, all these also makes a big difference. If you take Prime Minister's loss, especially the Congress government's loss, can be attributed to major corruption charges. So the systemic factors do matter, but however, the positive message along with the neutral opinion in the people can drive the election benefits. Bringing genetically modified crops to the table. So genetically modified crops, there are two arguments on the extreme fronts. Some people say GM crops are irreplaceable and these are necessary for the food security of the world and also fuel security if to be achieved. On the other hand, the people, the pessimists, what they say is they can cause irreparable damage to health and environment. So the Green Revolution was also cited as an example where a new technology, though has provided for food security, we are facing the environmental consequences today because of it. So here appears the major problem is related to trust deficit. Now let's take MICO and all these. They are bringing in GM crops. Who are conducting the field trials on the safety of these GM crops? The very person who wants to commercialize the crop. And what are the results of field trials? These are not openly given for public. There is a lot of secrecy with regard to this regulatory process is concerned. That is the first challenge. There is a conflict of interest which is leading to trust deficit. And the second challenge with regard to genetically modified crops is the precautionary understanding. It means, as of now, the existing scientific knowledge is not sufficient to prove beyond doubt that the genetically modified crops are safe for consumption. So let us wait till substantial scientific knowledge comes to prove that they are safe for consumption. So these two, if they are addressed, then GM crops can be cultivated. The next is American voyage. It is about the Prime Minister Modi's visit to United States of America. I think he made 4 visits during Obama era and he was received very well. When he became the Prime Minister at Madison Square, he was received by the NRIs, which was also taken positively by the establishment there. But now, there is no Madison Square like incident that clearly shows the change of mind, the anti immigrant rhetoric that is existing in the country, and also the protectionist attitude of Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump showing the fingers towards India, all these make this trip less exciting. If you see with regard to Paris Climate Pact, the President Trump has clearly showed fingers towards India and stated that it is expecting billions and billions and billions of dollars. And second is, Mr. Trump, with regard to the protectionist measures and anti-immigration policy which is he bringing in, is directly impacting the Indian IT industry. And on the other side, the defense trade and technology initiative which have been started during Obama era also are expected to continue now. But there should need not be a quick decision on the same. We have to see the America's reaction and the direction the relationship is going to take forward. Then we can make a decision. America, on President Trump's list, India do not appear to be high on agenda. So, anti-terror actions or counter-terrorism and maritime cooperation, small agreements are bound to happen on these areas, not beyond that. Macron once more. So, in France presidential elections, Emmanuel Macron won. And then we stated that the coming parliamentary elections are going to be critical. If far left, far right, or Socialist Party, or the rightists, if anyone comes to power, that may constrain his functioning. So, in this context, Emmanuel Macron's party, La Repubblica En Marche, it has one substantial majority. It provides him operational freedom to take forward his economic agenda. His economic agenda being strange. The reason is it has both the rightist and leftist elements intertwined with each other. If you talk about rightist elements, he talks about austerity measures on one side. On the leftist elements, he talks about extending the welfare measures. But most important part is promising is related to governance. He wants to increase probity in public life and fight strongly against corruption. And third thing is, in moralizing politics and also the uniting the country, he promised that France is divided like never before. So he is going to make every attempt to unite the France and French people. So these are the positives we can look for. And let's go to the open ed page. We have to keep the door open for possibilities. It is the Pakistani ambassador to India, Mr. Bassett's interview. Here, let's understand what is the Pakistan stand on Kashmir. The first is, Pakistan says that no talks can be possible with preconditions. What India states over here is, no talks can happen in the environment of fear and terrorism. So fear and terrorism have to be stopped before talks has to resume. So these are the two different stands. And second thing is, Pakistan wants a third party mediation now. On the other hand, India states clearly that the spirit of Shimla agreement has to guide us. Here Shimla agreement has stated there shall be no intervention of any third party. Every issue which are pending between the countries have to be solved by bilaterally by both the countries. In recent Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting was going on, Pakistan has claimed that Russian President Putin is willing to offer for mediation. What is the Pakistan's reason for this? In spite of Shimla agreement being 3 decades old, 4 decades I think, nothing substantial has happened. So some solution to be found, a mediation is necessary. That is the argument of Pakistan. So these are the few important points. With regard to the Prime Minister Modi's government is concerned, 2015, a framework agreement for comprehensive dialogue signed with Pakistan is remarkable, and other than that, no significant progress has happened between the two nations. Now, let's come to the front page. Mr. Karnan, he was held in Coimbatore. He was the first sitting judge who was punished or jailed with a Supreme Court order. Now, it exposes some serious problems with regard to the conduct of judges, where our constitutional choices are very limited. He was not punished as a judge, but he was punished as an individual for contempt of court. So, other than removal of the judges, there is no other possibility in our constitution for minor punishments. So, that is been exposed because of Karnan's issue. And then, let's go into single licensing policy in agricultural markets. Telangana, it's going to bring in one single license for the traders to trade in any of the markets for agricultural produce. As of now, a license given in one of the market cannot be used in the other markets. That is going to be stopped, and one unified license will be given, which is a progressive step for unifying the agricultural market. And let's come to the news page. Lawless skin face binomi law. So binomi law means other than family members, if anyone holds the land which belongs to or which is made from the other person's son. So that can be called as a binomi property. So in this context, the law or else any person can be punished for 7 years and with a penalty of the cost of the property and 25% extra over it. And then 1,000 more NGOs may lose license. So any NGO that is receiving foreign contributions, it is expected to file an annual IT returns. So if not, their FCRA license is expected to be lost, and the government is looking for stripping 10,000 more NGOs of their FCRA permissions. Now, let's get onto the business page. Here, resolution process to increase capital requirement for banks. Again, it is about NPAs. Recently, RBI has clearly stated that 12 major NPAs need to be taken forward and submitted for National Company Law Tribunal for insolvency process. So under bankruptcy and insolvency code, this is the first step which has been taken up to that extent you remember. Let's go to the 6th page with regard to the world. I am more interested in this article, Pak begins fencing Afghan border. You know, the Durand line exists between Pakistan and Afghanistan. But Afghanistan do not recognize the sanctity of Durand line. So they say that it's an imposition onto them. Now Pakistan wants to move forward with fencing Durand line, stating that it is in the mutual interest, which is being opposed by the Afghanistan. And at the end of this, I gave you the notes. This is available to you at laix.in/civils-prep. And then at anthropology online classes, you can register them at laix.in/test prep. So thank you very much and all the best.